Hello students, this is the second session of the induction motor. In previous session, we have discussed about the open circuit test and block rotor test of induction motor. From the data of open circuit test and block rotor test, we have discussed how to draw the circuit diagram in stepwise. Today, we will solve some examples on circuit diagram and various parameters of induction motor. This is the example. These are the given data. Here, no load test. Values are there. No load voltage, no load power, no load current. And this is block rotor test. Short circuit voltage, short circuit power, short circuit current. By taking these data, we are going to draw the circuit diagram. And the other parameters means that is full load current, power factor, and slip they asked in the example. This is the solution for the example. We will solve the circuit diagram in stepwise. Find the power factor at no load, that is cos pi naught equal to W naught by root 3 VL I naught. Here is also we may call as V naught. That equal to, by substituting these values, we will get this value, that pi naught equal to 78.5 degree. Similarly, we can solve the pi SC, that is the substituting these values in this equation, we will get the pi SC equal to 66.1 degree. Take the current scale, 1 centimeter is equal to 5 ampere. That is O dash is equal to 9 ampere by 5 equal to 1.8 centimeter length, that is I naught. O dash equal to 1.8 centimeter, that is called as I naught. Take the XY plane, draw O dash line at an angle of 78.5 degree with respect to the Y axis from the origin, that is here. Take this is the XY plane. In this XY plane, O dash is the I naught, that is no load current, that equal to 1.8 centimeter. We take it by an angle of pi naught here. Then take the protector here and keeping the protector point at 0 point at origin, and take the scale pi naught, that is 78.5 degree from the y axis to here. Next, draw the parallel line from O dash to x axis, that is O dash D. This is the parallel line to the x axis, that is O dash D. Next, calculate the short circuit current, that is ISN equal to ISC into V by VSC. ISC is 38 ampere and V naught is, that is called as VL also, it is 400 by 150 is there, equal to 101.3 ampere. Then ISN equal to 101.3 ampere divided by the 5 by taking the current scale, that equal to 20.26 centimeter, that is called as OA line, that is here. OA line is there, and ISN equal to 20.26, that is OA line is there. By taking this OA line from the y axis by an angle of 66.1 degree, that is you are calculating here, that is 66.1 degree with respect to y axis from O, that is shown in figure. Join AO, this line is called as output line. Bisect the output line and draw the perpendicular line to AO, and it connects C at the point at O dash D line. Draw vertical line from the A to G. This gives the total losses in the motor, that is here. Let's join this A O dash. This is the output line, and bisect this output line and draw the perpendicular line to this O dash A, it joins at C in the O dash D line. And take the radius of O dash C and draw the semicircle, and you should pass through the O dash and A point. And draw the vertical line A to G. This will give the total losses in the machine. And AF give the total copper loss, and AG will give the total losses, and FG will give the fixed loss. This is the variable loss. This variable loss is called the copper loss. This FG will give the fixed loss, or this is called iron loss. And copper losses is the total copper loss is divided into two things. It is rotor copper loss and stator copper loss. We have to divide equally and take the center point of the AF, is considered as a E point. Then join E and O dash, it will give the torque line. Next, to calculate the short circuit power, that is WSN equal to WSC into E by VSC whole square. That value is 28,440 watts. That AG represents the 28,440 watts. And measure the distance AG. Actually, by taking the scale now, we have to measure it. It will give you the 8 centimeter. Therefore, power scale equal to, that is 1 centimeter equal to 28,440 divided by 8, that is 3,555 watts. Now, full load motor output equal to 14,900, it will be given in the example. Next, to measure the AW equal to motor output divided by the power scale, it will give the 4.19 centimeter, that is AW. We can extend that line here by measuring this one. We will give the AW equal to 4.19. You can extend this line AG up to AW. Draw the WL line parallel to the output line O dash A. Draw the WL line parallel to the A O dash. Draw the line WL which is taken parallel to the A O dash. From the L point, you can draw the vertical line which joins at the x-axis at K point. And locate the points P, Q, R in this intersections. Okay, next calculate the slip and line current and the angle. That is here line current equal to, that is join this OL, and this is the line current. This is totally measured, this distance is the 6 centimeter. Join the line LO, it gives the line current, and this is by measuring this OL, it gives the value of 6 centimeter, and it is multiplied with the current scale, that is 5 ampere. It gives total line current equal to 30 ampere. Total from OL is 30 ampere. And measure the power factor from this one. Example, he asked to find the slip also. Slip equal to rotor copper loss by rotor input. Rotor copper loss is PQ is the rotor copper loss and LQ is the rotor input. By measuring these values, you can find the total value of the slip. These are the tutorial examples, and here they are given the data here, and here no load data, that is no load, voltage, no load, current, and no load power. And from the block road test, short circuit voltage, short circuit current, and short circuit power. From these things, we are going to draw the circuit diagram, and we have to find the full load, line current, power factor, and maximum torque. And here you have to consider the rotor copper loss equal to stator copper loss. Similarly, you have to draw the one more example. This is the next example. Here also now they are given the no load data and block load data. Here he has not given the power, no load power and short circuit power. We have calculated this one by using this no load voltage, no load current and no load power factor. By this one you can find the no load power, and here you can calculate the short circuit power. By using this one, you have to draw circle diagram, and from circle diagram, line current, slip, efficiency, full load power factor and maximum torque you can find it by the circle diagram. Next, cogging and crawling. In squirrel cage induction motor, with the number of stator slots equal to the number of rotor slots, that is S1 equal to S2. Then the motor may refuse to start. This phenomena is known as cogging, or it is also called as magnetic locking. This magnetic locking occurs between the stator teeth and the rotor teeth. Here, flux produced by the stator winding and flux produced by the rotor conductor, both the fluxes attract each other, and then magnetic locking takes place. This is known as cogging. And crawling, squirrel cage induction motor sometimes exhibits tendency to run stably at speeds as low as 1/7 of their synchronous speed, and this speed is always less than the synchronous speed. This is known as crawling of an induction motor. And stator produces the pure sine wave flux, but here the stator produces the complex sine wave, which is not a pure sine wave because of the crawling, and this crawling having the odd harmonics like 3rd, 5th, 7th. It is a double cage rotor. The main disadvantage of a squirrel cage induction motor has poor starting torque. It has lower rotor resistance. The starting torque increased by having a cage of high resistance, but motor will have poor efficiency under normal running condition. The difficulty with a cage motor is that its rotor circuit during starting period. Build a squirrel cage motor, we should have high starting torque without sacrificing its electrical efficiency. As a result, motor has two independent cages on the same rotor, on one inside the other, as shown in figure here. One is outside, other in the inside. Hence, outer cage has high resistance and low ratio of reactance to resistance, whereas inner cage has low resistance and is situated deep in the rotor, and it has large ratio of reactance to resistance here. This is the outer cage and this is the inner cage. Outer cage develops maximum torque at starting, while the inner cage does not, so at about 15% of the slip. In this case, this is the outer cage rotor and this is the inner cage rotor. In the same rotor circuit, these are there, and upper cage having the high resistance and low reactance, and lower cage having the low resistance and high reactance. And from this one, you will get from the inner cage, we will give the torque slip characteristic curve. This is the curve for the inner cage and this is the curve for the outer cage. And the combined characteristics of the inner cage and outer cage will give the double cage characteristic curve of the torque slip curve. This is the equivalent circuit diagram of the double cage rotors. If it is assume that the both cages completely link the main flux, then the two rotor cages can be considered in parallel. Here the outer cage resistance and reactances and inner cage resistance and reactances here. The equivalent circuit for one phase of the rotor as referred to stator as shown in figure A, and it is simplified equivalent circuit diagram is in the figure B. Here R0 and that is R0 or RO is the outer cage resistance and XO is the outer cage reactances, and Ri, that is R dash I, is the inner cage resistance and X dash I is the inner cage reactances. And we will solve this one example on this equivalent circuit diagram. This is the equivalent impedance of inner and outer cages of a double cage rotor. These are the values they are given. Calculate the ratio of torque produced by two cages at standstill and at 5% of slip. First, you consider the at standstill impedance of inner cage, that is Zi equal to square root of Rs square and Xi square. That is you take these two values here, and this is the Zi value, and impedance of the outer cage, that is Z0, that is here. This R0 and X0 were taken here, and this is the value. And measure the I0 and II, the current. Power input of inner cage Pi equal to II square into Ri. This is the value here. And power input of outer cage equal to, that is Po equal to I0 square into Ro. This value is there. Next, torque of output cage by torque of input inner cage equal to T0 by Ti. T0 by Ti equal to P0 by Pi. Substituting the value of P0 and Pi here, we will get 5U. T0 by Ti equal to 5U. That is T0 is to Ti equal to 5:1. That means outer cage and the more torque as compared to the inner cage. This is outer cage torque, this is inner cage torque at the starting. When considering the slip equal to 0.05, here by considering slip here in the both the equation impedances Z0 and Zi impedances, considering the slip here, these are the values are here, and here the ratio of T0 to Ti is, that is T0 is to Ti equal to 0.21:1. In this case, the torque at the outer conductor, that is very less as compared to the inner conductor. It is seen from the above, the outer cage provides maximum torque at the starting, whereas inner cage does later. Next, induction motor working as induction generator. When induction motor runs more than its synchronous speed, it runs as a generator, is known as induction generator. It converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. This energy is released by the stator as shown in figure. This figure shows the ordinary squirrel cage induction motor, which is driven by the petrol engine and is connected to a 3-phase line. As soon as motor speed exceeds its synchronous speed, it starts delivering active power P to the 3-phase line, that is to the grid. However, for creating its own magnetic field, it absorbs reactive power, that is Q, from the line to which is connected here. As seen in figure, Q flows in the opposite direction to the P. The active power is directly proportional to the slip above the synchronous speed. The reactive power required by the machine can also be supplied by a group of capacitors connected across the terminals as shown in this figure. This arrangement can be used to supply 3-phase load without using external source. The frequency generated is slightly less than corresponding to the speed of rotation. the capacitance is insufficient, the generated voltage will not build up. Hence, capacitor bank must be large enough to supply the reactive power as shown in figure. This completes your third model. Thank you.